Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For our comedy act tonight, I'm delighted. Our guest tonight, our speaker, is somebody who is probably well known to all of you, maybe, just about. Charlie Robinson has traveled the world, 6 continents, 63 countries, and all 50 states, mainly using, this is a new word for me, OPM. Who knows what that stands for? You've heard it before, eh? He's spoken about that. And he writes travelogues and takes lots of pictures and written a few books. I'm sure he'll tell you about some of that as we go along. And since he's been here, he's written some, I think, another couple of books and brochures. And he gives his readers and listeners a real authentic look at what he's talking about. Some of you, many of you, most of you may have seen Ireland a few months ago, and that was a fascinating movie, show. And by the way, that's on Icon, if you haven't seen that. And he travels to find backgrounds for his novels. But since he's come here, I realized he has some more talents. And some of you may have seen his Christmas dancing mice, and his electric trains. All kinds of skills this guy has. We're delighted to have him join us tonight to talk turkey. And he says there are turkeys in Turkey, so who knows what we'll get. And I'll move this microphone out of the way so that it doesn't obstruct views. And we'll use this for questions if there are any at any time. And I'll hold it offside. Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you, Michael. Everybody, hear me up? Okay? All right. I want to talk about a November 23 trip I took to Turkey.
Forgot that.
Okay. There you go. Sponsored by the Turkish Cultural Center and the Peace Island Institute that was set up to foster Christian-Muslim dialogue. And it was not associated with Syracuse University. But I also want to talk about Botox. I had Botox injection 2 weeks ago into my vocal cords, and I was supposed to be over being hoarse by now, but it's like the galloping gurneys. Yeah. My apologies.
We got a lot of teachers here.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll let the slides do the talking. Anyway. So what you will hopefully learn is the rich culture of secular Turkey and its Islamic sects. The beauty of that great country. Oh, the foods of Turkey. I think I gained 30 pounds and maybe lost 20 walking around. The turkeys in Turkey, okay? And the sad repression of many that I met there. 38 million people live in Turkey, mostly Turks. Kurds are the second most. and they don't get along. Kurds are in the Far East, and a lot of tension. Turkey is Muslim majority, and it was a mainly secular state, although more and more tension. There was a great persecution of Muslims during the Ottoman era, resulting outside of Turkey, and they all migrated towards Turkey. Republic started in 23, and Ataturk was its first president, but he wanted to be secular, and he kept it that way. Erdogan won the first presidential election. I was there during the primary. Great speeches. He was going to do great things for the country. But in June 23, there was an unsuccessful purge, and many people got imprisoned and were never, ever, ever heard from again. And I met many of those people in 13 when I was there. It's sad. There was a claim, you can't prove it, that 23 million invalid ballots were counted. Now, since then, Erdogan has twice easily won re-election. Turkey is a NATO member. Trip. We drove to Montreal because we lived in upstate New York. Montreal to Toronto, Toronto to Istanbul, enough points to fly business class, really nice. Then inside the country, we only paid $450. So we had to get ourselves to and from Turkey, but inside, fixed price for all the flights. So Izmir, Cappadocia, Konya, back to Istanbul, back to Montreal, all ground accommodations were covered by our hosts. Turkey's a big country, 30,000 square miles, 20% bigger than Texas, and it goes east to west, so it's skinny, and it covers both Europe and Asia. It's a 10.5-hour flight, and Toronto to, Montreal, Toronto to Istanbul. Folks, I took a little bit of pity on you. A little bit. The group took 1,500 photos. Every night we uploaded everybody's camera into my computer, and then at the end of the trip, I gave everybody all 1,500 photos. I only used 300 tonight. So in 3 hours, because of my voice, I'll let my photos do the talking. First day in Istanbul. Now, I came 2 days early. So I was able, nice hotel, I was able to get a massage, have good food, walk around, see the city. That was cool. But then the group came, and so we were able to have a fish lunch and then tour the boat. Bosphorus by boat. We took a subway ride, newly constructed. It just opened on Tuesday. On Thursday, we went under to the Asian side and came back. Just turned around, came right back. Kind of cool. Then we had dinner back on the European side. So this is up trampling through, and for the most part, Istanbul was clean. This is the spice market as you go under the mosque from one side to the other, and we're heading. This is the Bosporus Strait, and there's a mosque here, and we're going to go to the fish market and have something to eat. Now this fellow is Fred, great guy. Where I lost my marker here. Fred was a mortician, owned a funeral home, but he made his way up to got a commercial pilot's license, but he didn't fly commercial. He flew relief flights in commercial flights down to Costa Rica and there in Guatemala, but he died of a massive heart attack unexpectedly. This is a traditional dockside fish lounge. That's a sandwich. Oh, mom, yeah. Well, I don't know what you would say it, turkey, yada, yada, whatever. It was good. And it was cooked right on the boat. There's a cooking it. So the trawler would come up, dump the fish, they'd slice it, they'd cook it. Fred was always eating. Maybe that's why he died. I don't know. That was his wife, and that was the boat. And then we're getting on this little ship, and we're going to go up the Bosporus. It's about 20 miles long, connecting the Caspian Sea down into the whatever the other sea is. Anyway, what's it say? And there it is. And a lot of ships coming back and forth. And you would notice all the apartments and homes, residences cost 20 to 60 million US dollars. So any of you that don't like this place, I'll sell you one of those. All right. I'll take the commission. There's a mosque there too. We went under a couple bridges. It was maybe a 3 or 4 hour ride. Beautiful. We could eat on the boat. And that was, it's kind of cloudy, but good sights. And we had dinner at a great restaurant. I could wax and wane on the food, but there's a twist on baklava with pistachio, a lot of vegetables, a lot of lamb. My goodness. Why don't I go back there tomorrow? I wouldn't, but, and good hosts. So the second day, there was a marathon that ran across the bridge over to Asia and came back over. And that took us to Gepi Palace, and it was the imperial residence of the Sultan. Now, anytime we went anywhere, our admission was already paid, so we got a ticket to go in. And this is the gate of salutation where you were greeted, and there's the map of the Ottoman Empire, and it's set out into the Bosporus, and the Imperial Council been inside. A lot of ornate Islamic motifs. I wanted to get a picture of the dome, so I laid on my back. Now, if you're a Muslim, you'd lay on your stomach and bow, but I laid on my back, so maybe I violated some sacred something. Nobody said anything. And there's the wash station, so you would plate yourself, sacred relics. And then to his own private chamber, and he had so many concubines, maybe 100. I lost count. He didn't invite me in, but anyway. And then he had a big audience hall. But outside the palace, look at the view he had. Wouldn't it be nice to have the view here? Instead, we have the woods. Maybe we could have Alum Creek a little. And this is just another lookout. This is the fellow from the Peace Island Institute that went with us. Now we're exiting towards the Blue Mosque. This is the Blue Mosque. This is our group, maybe 15, 16 of us. Now here is Starbucks. This is their Starbucks. All right. Now, y'all know about Turkish coffee? It's like mud. You hear my voice? When I went to Franciscan University of Steubenville, I make Americana coffee like Turkish coffee. I made it like this, and if I stirred it with a plastic spoon and it didn't dissolve, I threw it away. Okay. I slept from 3 to 5 in the morning, drove a school bus, slept 3 to 5 in the afternoon. They were brutal. Yeah, 24 hours of credit by junior and senior years. But I did it. Anyway, but we did not eat at Mickey D's. So, and the food, again, even cafeteria stuff was very good. We went to the Blue Mosque, the Hagia Sophia, and the Basilica Cistern. So this is the Sultanahmet Mosque, and it's the supreme imperial mosque in Istanbul. So there's a lot of these mosques there. 1609, completed in 1616, and it's called the Blue Mosque. And there it sits. Again, it's all facing the water. It's on that peninsula that you saw. There's the aerial view, and you'll see this little place right there. That's where everybody came in and did the ceremony of washing. It was always your hands, then your face, then your hairs, then your arm, back to your face. Then you would go inside, you'd take your shoes off. Women would stay in the back chamber. Dress code and pictures. No shorts. Look at the architecture. Isn't that amazing? There were always these low circles of light. I don't know what they meant, but they meant something. And there were never any graven images. There was always Arabic scripts from the Quran. That's just amazing. This is the Blue Mosque. And just, what can I say? I want you to soak this up. You know, we went out, look at the sky and the minuet. And then close to it was the Hagia Sophia. Now, this was never touched by the Muslims. This is it from the outside. And now we're going inside. And look at the Byzantine mosaics. Amazing murals and drawings. Wow. And the colors, they still remain. They went in and they cleaned them. Instead of painting them over, it happened in most churches. And most mosques, they sandblasted them, they painted Jesus. And if there was Jesus and Mary, they put emperors and empresses next to them. John the Baptist. Now, they did put mosque things in there, which is a pulpit. I don't know what they call it, but the imam would go up and give a sermon. You don't see a tabernacle, but just the architecture. Now, interestingly, they were under attack sometimes, so they needed a water supply, and they developed these cisterns and underground cisterns, and you were able to take tours. So this is my camera and others. These were lit, so we went underground. These are some pictures I took, and there were gargoyles underneath. I'll go back. And each gargoyle meant something. I don't know what they meant, but somebody told me the tale. And again, it's the underground cistern. You always see these minuets, but look at the skies. Just amazing. Again, food. Why am I taking pictures of food? I loved it. This restaurant featured the Black Sea. That's the sea on the other side of the Bosporus Strait. And it features domates. That Turkish had a different word for it. I was in Egypt and they served domates. And I said, "Oh, you took these from the Greek." They said, "No, the Greeks took it from us." But wonderful food. Oh my goodness. There's got to be, Michael, you got to tell me where the Turkish restaurant is in town. Okay? Yes. You, me, and Don, I have to go sometime. All right? It's got to be authentic. It can't be rip-off Turkish. All right? Now, Soleimani Mosque is back in Asia, and they took great pride in showing us the Jewish Museum to prove that they were a secular nation. So this is the Soleimani Mosque. Again, you'll see the low-hanging lights, the red carpet. Now, each one of these squares on the floor were where you knelt and the headspace, and it was very prescribed a set of prayers where you place yourself a certain prescription. I don't know them all. Jewish Museum in Turkey with a lot of things that were found in Turkey. Then in the evening, we flew to Izmir to see Ephesus and Mary's house. We had a ticket. I'm doing okay. I've only got 250 slides to go, so I'm fine. So here's the city of Ephesus. Now, Ephesus in St. Paul's time was a port city. It is now 25 miles from the sea. How'd that happen? All right. So if you want genuine fake watches, you can buy them there. I just point that out. I didn't buy one, but I was tempted. Many, many impressive ruins in Ephesus. Impressive engineering. And a lot of, when they first uncovered Ephesus, there was a discussion, do we try to rebuild it or do we leave it? And they figured out we can understand how things were put together by looking at scrounge marks. And so when they could do it, they rebuilt it. Okay? So here's Nike with a Nike hat. Hey, what the heck? And they put together the columns and other things. Now here's the Temple of Hadrian that they were able to put together. You can see the works. And you gotta go. You gotta go. It's a massive, and you know, gravity works wonders. My son had a great job in Las Vegas. He was in charge of everything that flows. And he said, Dad, it's simple. Shit flows downhill. I got to agree with him. This is one of the marvels of Ephesus. This is the Roman library, Greek library of Ephesus. And you'll see it, another picture. They're rebuilding it the best they can. Isn't that amazing? Just amazing. All right? The great theater, think about the shows. So you can see the library there. You can see the theater. This is what somebody's idea of what went on. And this is one of our tour guides. And this is the dressing room underneath. And some of the pillars. This is just amazing engineering. And all the blocks and stuff out in and this walkway is probably a kilometer or more long with blocks on the side. You can see more of it here. Now, near Izmir, Ephesus, is Mary's house. And this is Mary's house. Now, it's rumored to be the place where the Virgin Mary lived and died. And you can go inside here, and this is pictures inside. You weren't allowed to take pictures. You didn't see them. Whoops. All right. So, you can come up afterwards and see these if you want. But this is, I collect all kind of junk. This is from Mary's house. All right. Now, this trip was not free. You had sponsors everywhere you want. So a trip sponsor was Art Ceramics, and these were all hand painted, and then uh, uh, what do you call it? Fried, put in a can, and so look at that. Mike, you want to zoom in? Potholders. American Water Cup. Now, some of my group bought whole sets to ship home. So now, from Izmir, we flew towards Cappadocia. We stayed in a hotel, and then we went to the underground city. The underground city is a place where Christians hid during the persecutions. And most interesting cultural heritage, it was carved out, and there were rolling stones that could block where you wanted to go. Now, it wasn't for certain people who shall remain nameless in our group. I won't point out anybody, mainly me, but I made it back then. Very, very small passageways. And there were stones for cooking, and the doors were wheels you could move over. And whoops. So there were storage bins. It's just a neat little place. Then we come to Fairy City at Cappadocia. It's just an amazing place. All right. I have a sign outside my door. Nobody loves anybody. Nobody loves somebody or something like that. These are gnome houses. You can actually rent these to live in by the week. Yeah. So Michael, this is Cappadocia. Okay.
Are they actually stones carved to make room for rooms?
Yes, they carved. It's soft stone.
It's a solid stone.
It's soft stone. It's soft stone. So they carved it. Ah! There are turkeys in Turkey. And when I first showed this, some subtle being pointed out that I was the turkey that showed that there was turkey in turkeys. Was that fair? But there are turkeys in Turkey. All right. Now, this is not supposed to be a religious talk, but you saw the underground caves, you saw the Hagia Sophia, and this is the another amazing place. All these churches were carved up in the sides of the mountains, and they were family churches, churches with 20 to 200 congregants. That's all. And you had to climb up, and there's some views from on high, small churches inside. I'll show you. Look at the frescoes. Just amazing views. Amazing. And so well preserved because it's a dry climate. And I didn't pick all of them, you know. Now, of course, we had to go to a rug weaver. And they do it by hand. And Fred bought a $7,000 rug. Maybe one like, maybe Fred bought one like that. He was wealthy, but they roll it up, ship it to him. And just amazing, they explained bringing the wool, the silk in, taking and spinning it, cleaning it. So it starts like this, it goes like this, it goes like this, it goes like this, it goes like this, and so on and so forth. So, and then we ate. Now, my great regret twice, I could have gone on Bloom Ride there, I could have gone on Bloom Ride another trip, I didn't. These are from my colleagues. 4:30 in the morning. I would have had to been on site at 3:30. I should have. And these are their pictures. Look at them. Look at them. Then at breakfast, we went to Konya, and we did a little bit of shopping. That might have been a couple of these places. I might have got mixed up, but who cares? Then again, the hospitality. This was some industrialist invited us into their home. You know, here I try to have 9 to 9 or 7 to 7 because I like to carry on that tradition, just to have people in to eat. And very, very nice folk, just salt of the earth. Great, great. Great hosts. They left us with some fruits. We couldn't really take fruits home. There are certain things you can't transport across borders, but I think there were other gifts. That's the whole group. Now, any of you know about rooming? Rooming? Okay. There's one thing I did not bring, and I should have. I forgot it. Anybody heard about the whirling dervishes? Rumi started Sufi Islam. Sufi Islam is a mystical branch of Islam. And this is in Konya, so you don't need to photograph this, but this is Rumi, and this is from Konya, and a good cup of tea, you know. And there's the whirling dervishes. But the one I have in my apartment is a glass whirling dervish with a light in the bottom that lights up. Okay, so me bad. Oh, and here's turkey and turkey. So, anyway, and I have Rumi's book. I couldn't find it. Big, thick book. I've read it. It's a nice work. Um, so, um, there is his museum. There's his tomb. There's a dervish. And there's a meditation cells. So, at Clarkson University in upstate New York, the president of the Islamic group there was a fellow faculty member. And I came back to Clarkson and I said to him, oh, I was super impressed at the Sufis and their approach to Islam. And he said, they're heretics. That's all. So, at lunch, what could I say? Ah, so, Masasa, I misspelled it. Masasta equals king. Why did they tempt me into this place? I mean, look at this. And look at this. Too many sweets. And that's what I ended up eating. I think just by looking, I gained 20 pounds. And then by eating, I gained another 20. Now, we went back to Istanbul, but instead of going to the main airport, we went to the Asian airport. And that meant that we had to drive a bus an hour to go through all kind of things to get back to the WOW airport over on in Europe. Well, that was okay. You know why? I didn't show the pictures because it's an older audience, but it was the International Women's Beauty Contest. That was okay for me. Yeah, right. Then the next day, we had about 3 hours to go to the spice market, and then in the evening we were treated to dessert and gifts. Again, more food, the farewell dinner. Now we flew back direct to Montreal. No, Istanbul, Munich, back. In sum, we saw many impressive religious and historic sites, met very many friendly people, ate exceptional food, gained much weight, and just had an amazingly good time. But I wouldn't go to Turkey now, maybe with a group. I would recommend trying Egypt. Thanks, everybody. Questions?
Any
Way in the
questions?
back. Way in the back.
Way at the back.
Charlie, why is it called the Blue Mosque?
The
Why is it
tiles,
called the Blue Mosque?
the tiles on the roof are blue.
Is there a Christian presence in Turkey now?
Yes,
I have a question about turkeys. My understanding is that English were the ones who give that name to the bird because Turkish traders brought the birds to the English. Is that true, or
I have no idea.
that the Turks actually call them something other than turkeys?
Well, the Turks as a group are called Turks, so I don't know.
Michael and I had the opportunity to go to Turkey, I think a few years before we did. Two things. Going to the Bosphorus is so interesting because I'm a lot to Europe and organization. Never made it to Asia, but it was just fascinating to see that Istanbul is in both, Turkey is in both continents. Second thing is, on Mother's Day, I wanted to be treated to a Turkish bath. Now, this was 1100 bath, 1100s bath, it was totally stone. You walk in, you were handed a beautiful Turkish towel and wooden shoes, and the men went to the left, and the women went to the right. And you went in and had this incredible massage and bath by a younger woman who was, it was just incredible. And afterwards, they gave you tea and cookies and stuff. And instead of going to that, Michael went to a tour of the cisterns underneath. So we had the water above and the water below. So that was incredible. Another thing, when we went to the restaurants, it got very cold at night. We were there in September, I think. And every place you went, they had a huge shawl for the men and the women, made wool, beautiful, to hand to the guests just to use that night. But I thought that was very thoughtful. I could go on and on, but I won't. You can still tell the story of the 5-foot cat, 5-foot cat.
I don't know.
When my husband was stationed over there, he says one of the first things they told him was, do not kill a cat, because if it has a 5-toe, they know the alligator is coming back.
My cat had 10 toes in the front, each side, and 8 in the back. He was a god in Egypt. Somebody here?
Charlie, did you see the dervishes at prayer?
What?
Did you see the dervishes at prayer? You didn't see them whirling.
Yes.
I thought maybe you could demonstrate for us. No, it's okay.
You first. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's it.
I will say this. My ex-wife was a mystic, and she felt their mysticism. Okay? Deep, deep mysticism.
The Sufis are known for incorporating movement, gestures, and all in their religious practices, and seek to know the divine through bodily experience that way. And that's why the whirling dervishes are so central to the Sufi practices.
Anybody else?
Well, thank you. Let me say that over the microphone. Thank you very much, Charlie. Fascinating discussion and description of Turkey, and we hope you all enjoyed it. And of course, as usual, this will probably be up on Icon, if I can stop moving my camera around, in a couple of days.
Anybody wants to see this
Yeah,
stuff?
come on up and have a look at the China or the Turkish he has here. Thanks very much, Charlie.
I got through them all.